Our next poet is writing and illustrating a quite beautiful children's story about elephants, which she hopes to publish someday. Please welcome Hannah Hilgendorf.
The first poem I will be reading tonight is entitled White Tents. In the camp of the kingdom, next to the Gray Valley, across from the camp of Pitt, I live. I am one of the healers in the rows of white tents, bandaging up wounds of soul and body, those who come up from the fight across the valley. As I take off their armor, their blood and bloodied stories flow forth from great battles of victories and defeats. They come in on stretchers, yet still leave with swords. Day after day, they return to me. Alone at night, I wash my robes of blood. I see myself only in the reflection of their armor as I remove it from their damp and broken bodies, and later return it to their healed, yet still vulnerable frames. At night, I sit alone at the edge of my tent, at the edge of the stars, at the edge of the valley, listening to the sounds of battle raging across the grassy sea, echo a familiar fight inside my chest. Day after day, they return to me. They carry on aching backs their wounded friends and raise high with triumphant arms their victorious leaders, a constant ebb and flow of brokenness and healing, crashing on the white tents like waves, crashing onto me like waves. Oh, day after day, they return to me. I use my aching arms and shaking words to give them strength. Night after night, I feel empty and weak, without friend or fire, washing my hands of blood. I hear the sounds of the pit and the singing of the kingdom, but I do not feel akin to either. It is the Gray Valley that has a familiar call. So tonight, I walk alone, leaving behind me bloodied robes, and the silver grass whispers, return further in and return, although to where, I do not know. The wind ripples through the gray sea, around in the pool of stars above, and as I walk, I watch, not for the wounded returning, but for a figure in white robes to return me, to a home where I am not always healing. From the left, the pit calls, but I know of its deceit. And to my right, the kingdom's music fades as I wander further into the silver grass, softly singing of returning once I have been healed. This last poem is entitled Back to the Light. Long ago, but not very far away, there was a small town of dirt roads and gray houses populated by miserable people. All of this was overshadowed by a dead sky and permeated with a smell of metal in the air. A deep well crouched in the center square, no longer a source of water, but an entrance to a network of prisons dug deep beneath the town. Wails, cries, shrieks, and even laughs echoed from this pit, but the entrance could not be covered. It was in the agreement. Carved into the gray stones, a solid statement read, "Forever, forever, this entrance now and forever serves as a reminder to those above and below that they are and always will be divided, enslaved, separate, forever." And so forever it seemed. Unsettled days followed unsettling nights, dusk reigning in both, until one day, when gray clouds slithered across the sky and their venom slowly fell, and the usual cries were coming without warning, all went silent, still, below and above. Then a sound, predetermined and wholly unexpected, rose from the pit. Someone was singing. The updwellers crept closer to the entrance of hell to hear an angel sing. But to their alarm, the voice did not remain sedentary. It began to climb and to become increasingly more important. There was a frantic search for the long-lost covering, but before it could be found, the song broke on them, and it broke them. Two hands grasped the edge of the circled stone, and from one hand dangled a set of heavy keys. The singer and the song now stood before them, and he shouted, "Today was the day, and always has been the day determined for me to climb from that darkness and bring the others with me. That writing on the stones no longer applies to you, for it is no longer in your language. It was only meant to be read by slaves. Prepare your hearts," he warned them. "The dwellers of the deep are coming back, and with them comes the light." Returning to the edge, it looked as though he was going to dive back into the darkness. Instead, he leaned far over the pit and sang the ancient song. A faint and faraway collection of voices that could almost be mistaken for an echo returned his call. In response to this duet, great slices of sun shot through gray clouds and began to widen and cover everything in golden dust. He then claimed a cleansing breath, deep and almost satisfied. And for the first time since the well was dug, as the sun warmed their faces and dried their fears, the updwellers remembered all that had happened. Thank you.